Early morning on September 11th, things were business as usual in Sudbury, Massachusetts. People were busy getting to work, grocery shopping, and taking care of their everyday business of their lives. That all changed around 9 o'clock.
Today we've had a national tragedy.
So
Two airplanes
have
crashed
in
into the World Trade Center.
borders
In our
of this
parent,
country. An active war.
Terror has, in a matter of minutes, changed the most famous skyline in the world. No one will ever look at this skyline again in exactly the same way.
Rapidly, the loss of the nation began to filter outward from New York to all the cities and towns of the United States, including Sudbury. The town of Sudbury had lost two citizens, Cora Holland and Peter Goodrich. Cora Holland was 52 years old. She was a mother of two daughters and a son. Cora spent much of her free time volunteering at the Sudbury Food Pantry, where her co-workers called her the Super Volunteer. She is survived by her husband Stephen, daughter Stephanie, daughter Jessica, and son Nathaniel. Peter Goodrich was 33 years old, a high honors mathematics graduate, and a six-time All-American in track and field at Bates College in Maine. Peter was both an intellectual and an athlete, a passionate Red Sox fan. Peter was born on the same day the Red Sox won the pennant on October 1st, 1967. He is survived by his wife. Sudbury's policymakers share their perspective on how they and the town were affected by the tragedy and how collectively we look towards the future. Maureen Valente, Sudbury's town manager, comments on the town's response.
I think the first thing that hit us was what is going on, and will Boston be under attack, and what will happen in Massachusetts? And my husband was in Boston that day in the State House. Kirsten's husband was in Boston that day. We thought of all the people possibly we knew at risk. We very much personalized it, I think, at first. Then we took what were the public safety issues. I talked with Lieutenant Fadgen. We were looking at that, and then it struck us with the enormity of it. We needed to lower the town flag out front. So,
Michael Dunn, Sudbury's fire chief, comments on emergency procedures.
We have a comprehensive emergency management plan that we worked with the Commonwealth of Massachusetts on over the last few years. But another plan we need to work on even more is our local emergency planning committee. And we have more, the town manager and the police chief, fire chief, and other town officials have been working on that quite extensively over the past couple of months, trying to identify the resources that we have here in Sudbury in case we should have an event in town.
William Hurley, the superintendent of the Sudbury Public Schools, comments on services offered to help students deal with the tragedy.
Immediately was, first of all, to reassure our children that they are as safe as they possibly can be in our schools. That was the honest, direct message that we gave to them. You are as safe here as you could possibly be. And we have done that. We have developed and had developed in the past safety plans. We've now extended those safety plans to include almost any kind of catastrophe, and have worked with the police and fire department to work out the details of those plans.
Dr. John Ritchie, superintendent of Lincoln Sudbury Regional High School, comments on the effect on students.
Say that I've been tremendously impressed by students in school because I think it's had a very powerful effect and a scary effect in some ways, but also a very sobering effect on kids to make them sort of take their lives more seriously and think about what really matters to them.
Lincoln Sudbury Regional High School held a rally to show their support for the people involved during September 11th. Maureen Masterson, a senior at Lincoln Sudbury High School, remembers when she first heard about the collision.
My first memory of September 11th was when the announcement came over the loudspeaker. I was sitting in African class, and we were having a discussion on civility and what it means to act civilized. And then this announcement came over that a plane had crashed into the World Trade Center, and I didn't really believe it at first. It didn't really make any sense, and then class ended and we left, and everybody didn't understand what was happening. No one really knew what was going on. The faculty didn't know, the students didn't know. There just wasn't enough information. So during lunch, what happened is a bunch of people went out to the cars and turned on the radios and sat in the car and then just heard the news reports that were going over every radio station. And at that point, everybody was really, really afraid and really scared, and they didn't know what to expect, and I didn't know what to expect. And no one really knew what was happening.
Thomas Dichter, a sophomore at Lincoln Sudbury High School, speaks out about how the students reacted to the news.
Something so huge and so shocking. I mean, first of all, it doesn't seem like something that can happen to us in the United States, and certainly to a lot of people, it didn't feel like it was something that could happen here at LS. But here was this huge event that was coming into our lives all at once. And one of the biggest reaction seemed to be not understanding what was going on, and fear and uncertainty about what was going on. First of all, because the reports were very preliminary, and we were hearing little bits on the intercom every so often from Dr. Ritchie. But after we went home and started to digest what had happened and watch the news or listen to the radio, even though some of the initial uncertainty about what had actually happened was starting to pass and we were starting to understand things, there was a lingering uncertainty about what this was going to mean for our country, for our lives, what was going to happen next. And while some of that has seemed to have faded a little bit, there's still a lot of uncertainty and discomfort and fear.
A new sense of patriotism could be seen in every hanging flag and every red, white, and blue ribbon decorating the homes and businesses in Sudbury. People were looking for a way to help those directly involved. A new committee was formed due to the events of September 11th. Hope Sudbury is a humanitarian outreach program. Its purpose is to engage the people of Sudbury in an effort to provide humanitarian aid to the people in need. Jody Kablack, Sudbury's town planner, explains what Hope Sudbury means to her.
So when I first heard of the Hope Sudbury project, I was very excited. I thought maybe this is the type of project that could help me regain this sense of giving something back to the community as a whole and the world community. And the premise of Hope Sudbury was just so wonderful. It was to focus on September 11th, but also build community so that Sudbury would be strengthened, as well as we'd be able to do something in a meaningful way to help the victims of September 11th. The community building part of the project is what I am focusing on. I think it's very important. I think that the premise of getting all types of people together in Sudbury for one common good is very important. And so through our projects with Hope Sudbury, we're hoping to engage all different age levels and all different interests in Sudbury in this outreach project that eventually would probably have a fundraising component so that we could actually do something very meaningful to people in need.
September 11th increased community and national unity and renewed our community outreach to those in need. President Bush notes that the resolve of our great nation is being tested, but make no mistake, we will show the world that we will pass this test. The efforts of the citizens of Sudbury over the last half year has proven that they are willing to accept this challenge.